Before we begin the business of today's meeting, I would like to commend the Chancellor's Office staff for so quickly and effectively coordinating this virtual meeting, which is a first for the California State University. This has been an extraordinary accomplishment executed under very challenging circumstances. I am pleased and gratified to note that this is just one example of how the CSU has nimbly adapted to the extraordinary and fast-changing demands of the unprecedented public health emergency we are facing. At the Chancellor's Office,
you are unmuted.
CSU's 23 campuses, leadership, faculty, staff, and students are tirelessly working together to develop creative and innovative ways to protect the health and well-being of our CSU family, while continuing to advance our academic mission during these very trying times. It has been truly inspired, but not unexpected. Thank you all for your exemplary service. This virtual meeting format will require us to be adaptable and to be flexible. While we have important matters to discuss and approve today, we also continue to face the daily and, in fact, minute-by-minute challenges on all 23 campus communities of COVID-19. So I ask all of my colleagues to refrain as much as possible from non-essential comment or question to allow for an expedited meeting. Another change is we will begin by taking all public comment for all committees and plenary at the beginning of this open session. So as one reminder for trustees, again, please keep your video live, but please mute your audio to avoid any background noise and interruption. At this time, I would like to ask Ms. Kiss to please call the speakers who have requested to provide their comment telephonically. And I would like to note that each speaker will have 1 minute for their comments. We will give you a few seconds to wrap up after a minute, but at that point, we will have to move on to the next speaker. Ms. Kiss, please begin the roll call of speakers.
Thank you, Chair Day. And thank you to all of our speakers for your flexibility with our virtual format. Again, I will be calling the names of the speakers, and I will unmute you as your name is called. You will have 1 minute to provide your comments. And then you will be provided with a verbal reminder to please wrap up your comments so that we can move on to the next speaker. Our first speaker is Ann Bowler.
Hi, can you hear me?
We can hear you, Ann.
Great. I'm a Placer County business owner. I urge California State University not to accept the donation of land in Placer Ranch, as it is the development conflicts with California's traffic and conservation policies. A few details. The development will cause the destruction of thousands of acres of carbon sequestering land that are home to 14 endangered species. It will rezone long protected vernal pool wetlands into urban sprawl with 6,000 high-cost homes and not a single safe unit of affordable housing. The development will cause huge increases to the region's CO2. Much of the housing in your university will be built dangerously close to Placer County's only landfill, which will cause health problems for your students and others, which could in turn potentially cause the landfill to be shut down, a tragedy for Placer County. Do you understand that if you accept this land, you are giving the green light to 14 square miles of urban sprawl? I welcome CSU to alternative sites in Placer County, but please say no to this gift as it comes at great environmental cost. Thank you for your serious consideration, trustees. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Our next speaker is Cal Mason. Cal, you have been unmuted and you can begin your comments.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you. My name is Cal Mason, and I'm a Teamsters Local 2010 steward at SDSU and a member of our Unit 6 Skilled Trades Bargaining Team. I've been an electrician at CSU for 24 years. Our members appreciate that CSU has listened and provided up to 128 hours paid leave to deal with COVID-19 related issues. This leave is critical in these uncertain times for us to protect our health and take care of our families with school and daycare closures. We ask that the CSU respect our requests to use this leave and not put up any unnecessary barriers in approving it. Things are stressful enough without having to worry about our managers being fair and approving our leave. It is also becoming clear that this crisis will likely last longer than a few weeks. So our union calls on the CSU to commit to extend this leave to cover the duration of the emergency. Our members will continue to do our work, which is keeping the campuses operational regardless of the length of this crisis. So it's only fair that CSU please continue to show the same commitment by granting paid leave to those who need it most. Thank you and have a good day.
Thank you, Cal, for your comments. Our next speaker is Mandy Davies. Mandy, you are unmuted and can begin your comments.
Thank you. I am the Vice President of Student Services at Sierra College. That has been my employer for the last 29 years. I'm here to speak on behalf of the Placer Ranch Project. Placer County is the second fastest growing county percentage-wise in the state of California. The Placer Ranch Project provides opportunity for the CSU to develop an unprecedented intersegmental partnership to meet the future employment needs of the region. In today's climate, the critical importance of human contact and community gathering spaces cannot be understated. Moving forward with Placer Ranch allows us to maximize our resources through joint use facilities, such as classrooms, labs, library, and student gathering spaces. It allows us to build a model partnership, providing seamless integration between high school, community college, and university, leaving no student behind. By designing continuous support systems, we can target our most vulnerable populations through dual admission and financial aid consortia, cross-trained academic and service advisors, integrated technology tools, and shared use spaces. Please provide the vision, support this project, and pave the way for a model of transformational change in higher education. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Mandy. Our next speaker is Cheryl Burkema. Cheryl, you have been unmuted and can begin your remarks.
Good morning, CSU Board of Trustees. My name is Cheryl Burkema. I am a computer science graduate of the CSU School of Engineering, and I welcome a new university to Placer County. Placer County recently approved the Sunset area of Placer Ranch, a new city surrounded by a landfill with no signed university, no signed innovators, no mass transit system, a lack of affordable housing, unknown health risks, no independent financial analysis, and with unknown funding. The county itself has no housing plan, no transportation plan, no sustainability plan, and no conservation plan. Those plans are measured a failure to include prerequisite plans.
You are muted.
And undefined
You are unmuted.
resources and unknown and unmanageable risks are recipes for failures. What does Placer County's failure to do due diligence mean to future students if the university accepts the land donation? Presuming roads and infrastructure ever get built, since they are not currently funded, students will be trapped in a polluted city near a smelly dump.
Thank you, Cheryl. That's at 1 minute. Can you please wrap up your comments?
Yes, I urge you not to accept the land donation and use your precious resources to investigate what the future of education may look like and what your students will want for their education and school experience. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Cheryl. Our next speaker is Chris Rooney. Chris, you have been unmuted and can begin your comments.
Hello, my name is Christopher Rooney. I'm a third-year employee at Cal State University Northridge and the Chief Campus Steward for Teamsters. Our members' work allows the CSU to continue operating. As the electricians, plumbers, building service engineers, and other skilled trades at CSU, our work often requires that we be working in person on the campuses. Across the state, Unit 6 workers continue to be called in to work on the campuses while students are receiving remote instruction and many other staff members are working remotely. In doing this, our members are taking on more risk of contracting the coronavirus, and they deserve to be fairly compensated for this risk. Our Unit 6 contract provides for emergency pay in situations like these, where other employees are sent home and we are expected to still come to work. Unfortunately, the campuses have tried to use technicalities to avoid providing this pay to our members. Now is not the time for games. We call on the Chancellor's office to ensure that campuses are following our contract and paying our members fairly. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Our next speaker is Leslie Warren. Leslie, you have been unmuted and you can begin your comments.
Leslie, your audio, we've sent you a request to unmute your audio. Please confirm that so that we can hear your comments.
I'm Leslie Warren, Chair of the Alliance for Environmental Leadership, and representing today 15 local public service groups who produce the citizen-initiated Smart Growth Plan, an alternative to the Plaza Ranch development. Beware of developers bearing gifts today. Don't let CSU be a Trojan horse and cause the destruction of thousands of acres of carbon sequestering green fields that are home to 14 listed endangered species. This gift is bait, and it hooked Placer County, causing them to abandon good land use policy and to rezone long protected vernal pool wetland and farms for low density, high cost sprawl. This county approval is now mired in litigation, and citizens went to the ballot box this month and removed the supervisor who champions Placer Ranch project. Who really benefits from this gift? It is a gift to the donor developer, because if you accept it today, it will green light his sprawl project. We welcome CSU to alternate sites with transit access and infrastructure, but please decline this gift on greenfields, because it comes at great environmental cost. And putting a CSU on this land is diametrically opposed to our state policies for farmland and vernal pool conservation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Leslie, for your comment. Larissa Berry is the next speaker. You have been unmuted, Larissa. You can begin your comments.
Yes, good morning, Larissa Berry, Defender Bay. Good morning, trustees. You are charged with holding students to high standards of excellence, knowledge, and responsibility. Uphold these standards today. Very little in life is free. This donation comes with horrific environmental and taxpayers' costs, including $23 million for the EIR and retrofitting the waste facility. Millions of tax dollars are being used to waive the application fees and wetland removal permits for the developers. There is a $1 billion shortfall to expand the 6580 interchange so massive urban sprawl can be built. Sprawl with minimal affordable housing and no mass transit plans. Accepting this donation places our children and your faculty in a smell zone on top of the remains of 14 endangered species, which you will choose to kill in place for in lieu fees. It is your responsibility to understand costs and impacts to make an informed decision. Free, in this case, comes at a steep price. Please deny the donation. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Our next speaker is Marilyn Jasper. Marilyn, you have been unmuted and you may begin your comments.
Thank you. I'm speaking on behalf of Public Interest Coalition. We support CSU expansion, but not at Placer County's proposed location. It's disturbing to know that CSU was lured into a stipulated, quote, non-gift, unquote, contract and may unintentionally support one of Placer County's most egregious, sprawling, developer and politically driven project, which opportunistically touted a CSU campus as its own bait. we urge CSU to review and revise contract conditions, unintended outcomes, and impacts of a campus facility located in sensitive natural resource areas and farmlands. Second, please compare county public transportation promises for students, for example, against current and historical dismal records. Please hit the stop button or at least the pause button on this one. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Our next speaker is Dee Dee Cradell. Dee Dee, you have been unmuted and you can begin your comments.
Gotta call you back, Lily. Gotta call you back. Hi, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Great. Okay, thanks. My name is Dee Dee Cordell, and I'm a resident of Rockland. I'm also the vice president of the Sac State Alumni Association's Placer chapter. I wanted to share my support for the project. With the cost of housing getting further and further out of reach for the majority of Americans, having a campus in Placer County will make it possible for my kid, when that time comes, to stay at home and save a fortune in housing costs while pursuing a degree and becoming a proud Hornet like his mama. It'll also take a lot of the traffic off the roads to Sacramento. And while many are concerned about the traffic on 65, I get that. I know the Placer County Transportation Planning Agency has a plan for that. This campus is going to create a lot of jobs and reduce the commute for thousands of people, and it'll give all of us proud alumni a better way to stay connected to the schools that help make us who we are. So I am 100% behind this campus.
Thank you very much for your comments. Our next speaker is Kayla Scott. Kayla, you have been unmuted and you can begin your comments.
I graduated from Sacramento State in 2017, so I believe I have a timely perspective on the need for a Placer campus. Sac State is largely a commuter campus that serves our entire region of students from all income levels, many of whom are first-generation college students reliant on financial aid and working many hours to afford tuition. For these students like myself, the commute from Placer County to the campus can be a hardship that prevents them from graduating in 4 years, or for many, graduating at all. It is critical that we provide access to higher education in Placer County to serve the thousands of students north of Sacramento. Given our current uncertain economic climate, a Placer campus is also vital to combat brain drain from our region. Brain drain is the emigration of skilled, talented people who leave our region in search of better opportunities for higher education or employment. In order to serve our economic development and provide access to a skilled workforce for companies, we need to keep these talented individuals in Placer County. That will be the ticket to helping our economy recover from the COVID-19 crisis. We can protect our economy in Northern California by offering a Sac State campus in Placer County. Please vote to change the lives of so many in our county and protect our economy in the future. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Kayla. Our next speaker is Robert Wagant. You may begin.
Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity. I wanted to note that I'm the Placer County Supervisor in which the project is proposed. It's in my district. I wanted to point out that the area has been planned for jobs creation development for the last 20 years. I also want to note that the county voted 5-0 for this vote and is very supportive. The Board of Supervisors voted 5-0, very supportive of the project going forward. That's also echoed in the fact that the county has incentivized the project with about $17 million to hope that we can get that satellite started. And then I think with the platform that we have here, the rest will be history and will be very successful. And that includes the fact that we have a unique partnership, I believe, from the county, also with the property owner, of course, Eli Broad, Sacramento State, and Sierra College. And with that approach, I think we have a tremendous opportunity to be innovative and set the stage for some guaranteed success for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. Our next speaker is Kirk Euler. Kirk, you've unmuted and you can begin your comments.
Great. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Robert just touched on the highlights of the project as it relates to Placer County and our long-planned development of our Sunset Industrial area and the incredible once-in-a-generation opportunity that the landowner has presented to the residents of Placer County. All of these issues were considered by our board in our unanimous vote, but some of the other issues that also were considered were the availability of affordable housing that this project will be required to build, the availability of student housing that this project will be required to build, the participation of this project in our Placer County Conservation Plan, which will be signed by all the federal agencies and adopted this year. This project is an integral part of that conservation plan. So all of the objections that are being raised here today are all items that our board considered fully as we deliberated this project. And I think it's disingenuous at best for the same people who stood before our board to say we shouldn't consider the project because your board hadn't yet acted to approve the campus are now standing before you saying you shouldn't approve the campus because we didn't do our job in evaluating environmental concerns and housing concerns. It has all been thoroughly vetted, and we are looking forward to an amazing opportunity for future generations of Placer County residents. Thank you very much for your support and consideration of this project.
Thank you very much for your comments. Our next speaker is Tina Trice. Tina, you're unmuted and can begin your comments.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
This is Tina Trice, and I'm speaking to you today as a 40-year resident of Placer County. I'm also a proud alumni of Sacramento State, and I'm the current chair of the University Foundation of Sacramento State. And I'm coming to you in support of the Placer Center project. The Placer Ranch project is a unique concept of cooperation, and it's going to benefit our community throughout the Placer Center. The partnership between the Placer Ranch, Placer County, Sacramento State, and Sierra College is designed to create a hub for higher education. Through creative programming across both the community college and university systems, the center will continue to promote efficient, high-quality education with the goal of completion of that education in 4 years. The University Foundation at Sacramento State, the Placer Advisory Committee, and the community at large are committed to the necessary fundraising for the Placer Center through support from individuals, corporations, and partnerships. Thank you for your time, and please support the project.
Thank you very much for your comment. Our next speaker is Eric Skinner. Eric, you have been unmuted and you can begin your comments.
Thank you very much. Good morning, trustees. My name is Eric Skinner. I'm the Vice President for Administrative Services at Sierra College, and I'm here to speak in strong support of the off-campus center at Placer Ranch, which will expand access to higher education for residents of Placer County. We've been hard at work partnering with Sacramento State to plan the Western Placer Transfer Center, which will be located on the same site as the off-campus center. The partnership between Sierra College and Sacramento State is already strong, with transfer pathways to educational programs that provide our students with life-changing personal development and career opportunities. By co-locating instructional facilities for Sierra College and Sacramento State at the Placer Ranch site, we will be able to do an even better job of supporting the seamless transfer of our students to Sacramento State. Traffic congestion is a big problem up there and in the area, and so this will assist in solving that problem and improving access. Sierra College is committed to making this partnership a success, not only by investing the energy and time of our faculty and staff, but also allocating an estimated $38 million in bond funds to build the 30,000 square foot
Eric,
transfer
we're at the
facility.
1 minute mark. If you can please wrap up your comments.
We look forward to taking our transfer partnership with Sacramento State to new heights as we strive to meet the needs of our students, regional employers, and our economy. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I apologize in advance if I mispronounce anyone's name. Our next speaker is Rebecca Bacicchio.
Good morning. My name is Rebecca Bocchicchio. That was very close. And I'm a Vice President of Instruction at Sierra College, and I've been a resident of Placer County for 22 years. I would like to speak in support of the Sacramento State Placer Center. As several speakers have commented, Placer County is currently underserved by higher education. This project offers the opportunity for a unique partnership between a CSU and a California community college that will offer innovative programming to support both local students and the regional workforce. Additionally, as we all know, the CSU already offers extremely high quality degrees at a low cost to students. Combine that with California community college opportunities like the Promise Grant and 2 years free in a dual admission program, and we will have literally the best value for a bachelor's degree in the country. And that will be a powerful tool for regional economic development. I urge your support of this project. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. Our next speaker is William Duncan. William, you've been unmuted and you can begin your comments.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for the opportunity to address you. I submitted a letter in support of this project, and I ask you to approve the acceptance of the gift of the 301 acres to the California State University, Sacramento for the establishment of the Sacramento State Placer Center. I won't read my letter to you, but I wanted to highlight a couple of items. First, I wanted to speak about the need. Sac State is the top transfer school for Sierra College and for our community. We transfer 600 to 1,000 students annually and have done so for more than a decade. About 3,000 to 5,000 students commute daily from Placer County and our surrounding communities to Sacramento State. There is no four-year public option in Placer County and in Nevada County, our service areas. And so the creation of a center in our area will address that need. And one last thing on need, the PPIC recently released a report looking at every single county in the state of California, and essentially most counties are declining, as the report showed. However, Placer County is one of the fastest growing counties for K-12 enrollment in the state. We are projected to grow 12% over the next 10 years. Only 5 counties in the state are above 10%, and they are all 5 in the Sacramento State service area. The impacts are
Thank
great.
you, Mr. Duncan. We've reached the 1 minute mark. If you could please conclude your comments.
Last comment that I'll make is that Sac State and Sierra College have a long history of innovating together, and the need is great in our state to innovate in higher education. And I urge you to vote yes and accept the land donation. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Our next speaker is Roger Smith. Roger, you've been unmuted and you can begin your comments.
Yes, my name is Roger Smith. As a resident of Placer County and a semi-retired transportation engineer, I'm opposed to siting a new CSU campus at this location in north of Roseville in Placer County. I would also refer you to my written comments, which I submitted on February 17th. I'm a college grad and wholly support higher education, but I'm opposed to this campus because it's the wrong location for a new campus from the standpoint of increased traffic and other environmental impacts. But let's just focus on traffic for a minute. Nothing generates more auto traffic than an urban campus where most students commute as opposed to living on campus. Any new commuter campus like this is in an already congested area should be well served by public transit, preferably light rail, and this location is not set up for that. No new commuter campus should be considered until there's a solid approved plan in place for light rail service to the site. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. Our next speaker is Scott Johnson.
Hello, I'm Scott Johnson, a small business owner in Auburn, Placer County. Beware developer, Placer Ranch, bearing gifts today. Don't let CSU be used as a Trojan horse. The environmental costs are too great and run afoul of California's ag land conservation, climate action, and housing policies. This sprawl housing project lacks the housing diversity required to be compatible with bus rapid transit and is in the smell zone of the regional landfill. Please don't be part of the destruction of 2,200 acres of vernal pool habitat and farmland, home to 14 listed endangered species. The EIR is being litigated for inadequacy, and it also contains 60 significant and adverse environmental impacts, including pouring 1.5 billion pounds of new greenhouse gas into the air annually. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. Our next speaker is Amber Beckler. Amber, you have been unmuted and you can begin your comments.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Amber Beckler, a longtime Placer County resident. The proposed land donation for the CSU Placer Center does not strike a fair balance between CSU interests, Placer County residents, and natural resource preservation. Number one, getting long-term public funding could be an uphill battle because of how the county handled the overall project. Public requests and alternatives were dismissed. In a recent canvass of 22,000 voters in the area, similar frustration was voiced. Number two, CSU's reputation could be tarnished by being part of a project that chose the most environmentally destructive option. I suggest other options that seek to preserve rather than destroy vital vernal pools and 14 endangered species. Number three, basing decisions on 20-year-old studies may not represent today's academic needs. As a professional, an educator, and a CSU alum and a Placer County resident, I strongly urge you to decline this gift of land. Please evaluate other alternatives that meet the growing education needs and reflect CSU's brand. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Our next speaker is Chris Johnson. Chris, you've been unmuted and you can begin your comments.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Hi, I'm Chris Johnson, and I'm a 30-year resident of Placer County. I also serve on an advisory board to Purdue University Northwest, and one of our core competencies is delivering education and careers into the community while continuously improving the environment. First, I want to note that the studies that you cited in your documents are decades old, 1999, 2006. The demographics and the economy have changed drastically here. Tech is out and healthcare is in. We have a lot of age-restricted communities that have been built up, and that's why we have more of an aging community than a younger community. Accepting a gift from a former trustee that requires hundreds of millions of more taxpayer dollars to mitigate and to install infrastructure really doesn't serve our community needs. CSU students are much better served by expanding Sierra College rather than having a greenfield project that destroys scarce wildlife habitat to build a campus and some thousands of expensive homes. It's a new day in Placer County, and it's time for smart development that serves our citizens, not the developers who funded campaigns for decades, but lost the election this time around. So please decline this gift. It really does not serve your mission. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. Our next speaker is Robert Dugan. Robert, you've been unmuted and you can begin your comments.
Hi, this is Robert Dugan. I'm a longstanding Placer County resident. I grew up in Roseville, longstanding community volunteer, even spent 10 years on a local planning commission in Roseville. I, as well as my daughter, 30 years later, are students and graduates of Sac State, and we can attest to the commute associated with our local university. You know, all you got to do is be here the day after school gets out, and you see the relief of traffic congestion on the highways, and the ability to work and commute to Sac State would have been a great gift if we had had a university in Placer County. I've watched this process significantly over the years. It's been 20 plus years. Watched the environmental reviews go on at the local government level, and I'm here to ask for your support for this approval today so that we can start to put together the services needed for South Placer County and higher education that will allow more students like myself and my daughter who had to work and go to school to attain higher education. So we strongly encourage your favorable consideration of this request. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. Our next speaker is Pam Herman. Pam, you've been unmuted and you can begin your comments.
Hello, I am Pam Herman. I am a former Sierra College Foundation board member. I'm currently the president of the Sac State Placer Alumni Chapter. And I'm here to speak favorably on this project. I'm strongly in favor of it. I do the commute every day down to Sacramento, and I can attest that when school is in session, we have tons of cars on the road. It would be wonderful to have those students be local, be home, and not be on the road and having that long commute. I have a lot of confidence in our elected officials, both at the Board of Supervisors and the surrounding communities, as well as the leadership at both Sierra College and Sac State to do the right thing, both for the students and for the environment. I am strongly in favor of this project, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for your comments. Our next speaker is Neil Jacklin. Neil, you have been unmuted and you can begin your comments.
Good morning. Neil Jacklin, President for CSU Employees Union. I would like to ask the trustees and campus presidents to refer my full statement, COVID-19 pandemic statement. I wrote this statement to Vice Chancellor Nazario, letting her know my concerns and frustration over some of the campus's lack of due diligence in ensuring the health and safety of CSUEU representative employees. My intent was to move her, and now you, towards the serious problems afflicting the different campuses. Most importantly, prior to having any essential employees show up to their work site and following expected conditions should have been determined. Are the employee services critical to the operation of the CSU? Could the employee services be delivered in any other means? Has the CSU taken all reasonable and necessary precautions to safeguard the employee and those around them in the case of this deadly pathogen? Lacking these essential conditions, no one should have been required to return to their work site. I understand we are all in uncharted water, but I'm convinced that by working together, we can endure the pandemic and return to promoting the mission of the CSU, student successes, and the service to the public. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Our next speaker is Tessie Reese. Tessie, you have been unmuted and you can begin your comments.
Thank you. Good morning. I have already sent in my letter, my speech, which is longer than 1 minute, on behalf of Unit 2 Chair, myself, and Unit 2 Vice Chair, Pam Robertson. And what I wanted to say this morning is, first off, I did want to reach out and thank publicly, it's also in my letter, but publicly, Stephen James and Joseph Delensick at the Chancellor's Office, who has been very helpful in our concerns, our calls, and our emails over the past 2 weeks with some of the issues that have been going on in our health centers. We are fixing them as we go along. We have outlined requests of what we would like the health centers to uniformly do over at least the next 2 weeks. We are still hearing daily concerns that are happening in our health centers. In particular, I would like Northridge's president to please reach out to the health center. I don't know if there's confusion about what the administrative leave for chronic illness in those age 65 or older is, but there seems to be some confusion going on that campus. But I would, again, like you all to take a look at what we are requesting. It's reasonable. All of the healthcare agencies on the outside are moving to asking people to.
Thank you, Tessie. We've passed the 1 minute mark. If you could please wrap up.
I'm done. Thank you. I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you, Tessie. Our next speaker is Don Moreno. Don, you have been unmuted and you can begin your comments.
Hi, my name is Don Moreno. I've been an employee at Cal State East Bay for 25 years. I've been hearing from Unit 5 colleagues around the state about the deep concern they have not only on their physical health, but their economic security. As you know, Unit 5 employees are among the lowest paid workers within the CSU. We work every day on the campuses throughout the state, not only keeping our facilities looking good, but also cleaning our surroundings, which undoubtedly prevents or slows the spread of infectious disease. Our work is not just cosmetic, but provides a substantial public health benefit. The coronavirus crisis has exposed too many of what we know all too well already, that our personal finances operate on a thin margin. Just a few days of a missed pay leads to very hard choices in many of our households. With such uncertainty, many of us are worried, not just for the health, but for the impact that this pandemic has on the ability to meet our needs. We applaud the CSU's acknowledgement of the need of emergency pay, and we call on you trustees to continue to be there for us as we've been there for you for decades, cleaning your classrooms, mopping your halls, and emptying out your trash on wages that already make it a challenge to get by. Thank you so much and have a blessed day.
Thank you so much for your comments. Our next speaker is Fortunato Garcia. Fortunato, you've been unmuted and you can begin your comments.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Good morning, Chancellor White, trustees, campus presidents, and those who are watching virtually and listening via their phones. My name is Fortunato Garcia, CSUEU Unified Chair. I've been working as a guarding specialist at Fresno State for 8 years. I'm here voicing our concerns for CSUEU represented staff about the arbitrary decision-making with regards to the mandated reporting to campus by employees. These arbitrary decisions put employees and, by association, the public in harm's way, needlessly so in some cases. We often have employees who provide identical services being subjected to potential campus exposures, while others are permitted to remain in the relative safety of their homes while receiving administrative time off. As you know, coronavirus is an international, national, and statewide pandemic. The potential fatal impact of the virus is not different at CSU Fresno than it is at CSU San Marcos or any other CSU. I submit to you that the value of the lives of your staff and the public we come in contact with should be held in the highest regards throughout the CSU system. Please ensure that it is. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Our next speaker is Tony Spraggins. Tony, you have been unmuted and you can begin your comments.
Praise the Lord, everybody. My name is Tony Spraggins, BU7 Chair, CSUEU. I would like to start out by saying how disappointed I am at the way the CSU responded to this crisis. It is almost like you weren't prepared for an emergency, let alone this event, COVID-19. The one thing we expected of you would have been the CSU take charge and responsibility of the situation. That didn't happen. Instead, you passed the buck. You allow lower-level managers to make decisions for people with no guidance from the top. People's lives were literally pulled up by the roots, safety out the window. Even now, people are wondering what's next. The one thing that matters the most seems to be low on your list, people's health and safety. If it does matter, you have a funny way of showing it. The experts say social distancing, wash your hands, sanitize surfaces, and most of all, stay at home. Your response has been to come to work and do the essential things to keep the ship afloat. For years, we've been asking the question, what is essential and who is essential? And for years, there has been no answer. The CSU tends to make up the rules as they go. Shame. It would be nice for a change to see real effort of caring, of support, and understanding. Chancellor White said that he saw the CSU.
Thank you, Tony. You've reached the 1 minute mark. If you can please conclude your comments.
Chancellor White said that he saw the CSU and the CSUEU as a partnership. Was he serious? It would be nice if it were true. No, it should be essential. I have one question. Why aren't managers considered essential? Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Our next speaker is Martin Brenner. Martin, you have been unmuted and you can begin your comments.
Hi, this is Martin Brenner, CSUEU Unit 9 Vice Chair. I have also submitted written comments, so please refer to them after this meeting. I call your attention to the recent letter by CSUEU President Neil Jacklin regarding essential employees, particularly the 4 safety conditions that should have been required before CSUEU members or any CSU employee were ordered to return to campus. It is shocking that the importance of fundamental safety precautions was not self-evident to all CSU managers, many of whom have been reckless in overclassifying employees as essential and requiring them to remain on campuses, and who have failed to institute even basic protections for those required to return to on-site work, including holding all hands-on-deck meetings in cramped rooms. Their managerial decisions needlessly endanger employees and, by association, present a danger to the general public. I ask that you issue an executive order immediately requiring that all specific principles outlined by President Jacklin be applied to who is mandated to return to campus, that explicit safety precautions are followed to protect those employees prior to their returning to campus. I further humbly request that you consider corrective actions against managers who failed to follow similar protocols, which should have been self-evident. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Martin. Our next speaker is Rocky Sanchez. Rocky, you have been unmuted and you can begin your comments.
Thank you. I am Rocky Sanchez, VP for Representation with CSUEU, and have worked at Cal Poly Pomona for 28 years. I will be submitting my comments, but I do want to bring up some issues regarding the experiences that our members have been exposed to regarding this COVID-19 pandemic. Unfortunately, the campuses or the presidents have abdicated their responsibilities over to managers to make decisions where they shouldn't be making decisions without any form of guidance. For instance, we have some employees, usually it's Unit 5, that are working without proper PPE and training. While campuses have provided training but are still expecting all of their Unit 5 employees to work when classroom labs and studios are closed. Tessie has brought up the Unit 2 issues, and where she is asked, what is a plan? Is there a plan? Are there any kind of plans? Are all the campuses going to be on the same page, or are they going to just continue to do what they want as they wish? Also, there's the consideration of who's cleaning the computer equipment, like the keyboards and the mouse that is attached to the computers when students who are still on campus and are using them. There's still issues with dependent care, elder care with our members that they're worried about. It's unfortunate that some campuses are asking their employees for a verification of any underlying medical.
Rocky, thank you. We've gotten to the 1 minute mark. If you can please conclude your comments.
In conclusion, your employees are frightened for their families and themselves. They feel that their employer, meaning you, don't care and feel that they are being treated as expendable employees. I know that Steve James and Joseph Jelinczyk have tried to resolve the issues as we bring them up, and we thank them for them. You as the governing board, bring the campuses under control and not let them make up their policies and go their own way. Thank you.
Thank you, Rocky. Our next speaker is Charles Toombs. Charles, you have been unmuted and you can begin your comments.
Good morning, Chancellor White and Board of Trustees. I'm Charles Toombs, CFA President and Professor at San Diego State University. CFA is here to protect the rights, health, safety, and working conditions of our members now and when we resume face-to-face work. We are concerned about the safety and well-being of all faculty, students, and staff. I would like you to know how hard our Unit 3 members are working to provide instruction, counseling, coaching, and library services to our students in a virtual modality. Many of them have only worked face-to-face with students, and with little preparation time, in most cases only a few days, they have risen to the challenge in these extraordinary circumstances to do what they always do, deliver quality education. They are using their professional expertise and professional judgment in making the transition to virtual modalities as seamless for our students as possible. I hope you will join me to applaud and praise their work. And in these virtual working conditions, CFA strongly advocates for our members to have the right to not face professional setbacks and evaluations and future assignments, the right to a safe and clean campus when they return to campus, the continued right to our intellectual property and academic freedom.
Charles, we've reached the 1 minute mark. If you can please wrap up your comments.
Yes, I will. And the right to resume normal practices when the coronavirus pandemic is over. Moreover, we expect the collective bargaining agreement to be honored at all times. Thank you, and stay safe.
Thank you as well for your comments. Our next speaker is Kevin Weir. Kevin, you have been unmuted and you can begin your comments.
Good morning. This is Kevin Weir, Vice President of CFA. Our CFA leaders on every campus have been working tirelessly to engage with management representatives, putting in place provisions for how this work is to be transitioned, how and under what circumstances our instruction will be evaluated, in what context our colleagues will evaluate one another, and what this means for performance reviews, promotion, tenure, and reappointment. We know that there's a great deal of stress amongst faculty and our students as we deal with these new circumstances. These stresses are particularly pronounced amongst our Asian American and Pacific Islander faculty, staff, and students who have to deal with the added burden of racism and xenophobia surrounding this pandemic. On the campuses where there has been a collaborative relationship, we have seen anxieties reduced and problems solved. And on other campuses, pre-existing problems have exacerbated divisions and inhibited solutions. In difficult times, it is important for us to recognize why we are all here, our students. I want to encourage the trustees and managers to recognize the outstanding work our faculty have put in and continue to put in for our students. And I want you all to further recognize the amazing resiliency of our students as they adjust to these new conditions. Please remember that just as faculty need support, our students need accommodation, flexibility, and care during these difficult times. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. Our next speaker is Haley Antonovitz. Haley, you have been unmuted and you can begin.
Hello, everyone. My name is Haley Antonowitz. I am a student at California State University, Long Beach, and I'm here representing Students for Quality Education. So basically, I just wanted to say that our living situations, financial stability, and health of hundreds of thousands of California State University students have been negatively and critically impacted by the COVID-19 campus closures. We have seen egregious action on campuses the past few weeks, like 2 to 4 day evacuation notices sent to students after being assured that they would be allowed to stay, student workers losing their jobs or having hours drastically cut without compensation, and limiting hours and services of campus health centers on campus that provide critical medical care for our students. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you so much for your comments. Our next speaker is Mai Curry. Mai, you have been unmuted and you can begin your comments.
My name is May Curry from Stanislaus State SQE. Governor Newsom announced that there are talks with the CSU and UC systems about using their dorms as a quarantine spaces for individuals who have tested positive for COVID-19. My biggest concern as a student is what will happen to those students facing housing insecurity and international students. Dormitories are the primary residence for many students who are facing housing insecurity. International students cannot go home due to travel restrictions. We need to keep the students safe, and putting people who test positive for COVID-19 in dorms will put students who are currently housed there and future generations at risk. Some CSUs are asking students to leave with less than a week's notice. This could put students who live in university housing at risk for getting COVID-19 from outside sources. We need to keep the university open for students beyond those guidelines imposed by campuses. What are your thoughts about this, and what's planned for my fellow students? Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comments. Our next speaker is Melissa Jerez. Melissa, you have been unmuted and you can begin.
Hello, my name is Melissa Jerez and I'm part of Chico State SQE. We ask that the CSU accommodate and invest in students' well-being by, number 1, refunding student fees for canceled services. This includes lab fees, gym fees, extra activity fees, parking permits, and housing fees. Students will no longer be on campus to use these facilities and services. 2, where refunds are not possible, resources for canceled events and services should be reallocated to supply campus food pantries, medical facilities, and student emergency funds. 3, holding each campus responsible for finding housing for displaced students during the quarantine. 4, the Board of Trustees should include student voices and input during the decision-making process in situations of emergency and crisis. 5, in solidarity with our faculty, we ask that all faculty receive the same pay as they would if classes were still meeting in person. Number 6, provide a date for commencement ceremonies as soon as possible. Number 7, provide paid time off for student workers whose hours were cut or job loss due to the campus closures. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for your comments. Our next speaker is Jason Rabinowitz. Jason, you have been unmuted and you can begin your comments.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Jason Rabinowitz, Secretary Treasurer, Teamsters Local 2010. The Teamsters Union has a proud tradition of service in times of crisis, and the 1,100 Teamsters skilled trades workers at CSU are proud to work hard and do our part. We need to ensure that our workplace is safe and that workers' rights are protected. We welcome the decision to provide 128 hours of paid leave to employees who cannot work due to the COVID crisis. However, this program will need to be expanded because the crisis is likely to last much longer than 3 weeks. We urge CSU to provide every opportunity to employees to work so long as it may be done safely through telework, flexible schedules, and reassignments. But for those who can't work safely through these means, the Teamsters urge CSU to ensure that workers will not suffer layoffs, curtailments, or other loss of pay and benefits for the duration of the crisis. Many CSU workers live paycheck to paycheck. We would see massive hardship among CSU workers and families, with many losing their homes, facing eviction, food insecurity, and loss of health care. The economic harm would reverberate through our communities. CSU bears a responsibility to its workforce and the state to avoid such an outcome. With its continuing revenue and its large reserves, CSU has the means to meet its responsibility. We thank you for the ongoing communication the Chancellor's Office has maintained with the union through this crisis. Let's work together to keep CSU running as efficiently and safely as possible while protecting the rights and livelihood of the workers who make CSU work. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Our next speaker is Drew Scott. Drew, you have been unmuted and you can begin your comments.
Good morning, Chancellor White and Board of Trustees. My name is Drew Scott, and I'm a Skilled Trades Director for Teamsters Local 2010 and a member of our Unit 6 Skilled Trades Bargaining Team. I've been a Facility Control Specialist at Fresno for 13 years. Considering current events and the state of our nation, I will keep my criticism to myself. I would like to thank you for the leadership that has been shown. Sometimes decisions are hard to make, and some feel they are not made soon enough. Our Unit 6 Teamster members would ask for some consideration on how we are being treated campus to campus, as some campuses are requiring all Unit 6 staff to report to work, and some campuses are rotating smaller crews, while others are running skeleton crews. Please use your leadership to straighten out this disparity in the treatment of Unit 6 Teamsters. On bargaining, we understand that these are uncertain times, but know that the CSU will emerge from this crisis stronger than ever and will need a plan to take care of its critical skilled trades workforce going forward. I would also like to thank Fresno State administration for the box lunches and breakfast burritos for essential employees. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. Our next speaker is Robert Olson. Robert, you have been unmuted and you can begin your comments.
My name is Robert Olson. I'm from San Jose State University. I've been an employee there for 17 years, and I'd like to say thank you for everything that's being done. Our campus has been running smoothly with skeleton crews, and I would like to thank those that have came up with this idea to help those that are at work also. I would like to ask the CSU to continue helping and to straighten it out CSU-wide, what an essential employee is and how that is affecting our campus, because it doesn't just affect the students and the employees, it affects our community. I would like to thank you for this opportunity to speak, and you guys have a good day.
Thank you very much for your comments. Our next speaker is Matt Mason. Matt, you have been unmuted and you can begin your comments.
Hello, my name is Matt Mason. I'm a Teamster Local 2010 steward at Sacramento State, and I've been a member also as our Unit 6 Trades Bargaining Team. I've been a trades member at the CSU for 17 years, and I just want to speak on our contract bargaining that's currently going on. I know these are uncertain times for all of us, and unfortunately this crisis has emerged just as our unit was in the middle of contract bargaining with the CSU. However, we expect that the CSU will emerge stronger than ever from this crisis. And when it does, it will need to have a plan in place for its skilled trades workforce whose work is more important than ever. Our union can be flexible and is working with the CSU to address immediate issues, and we ask that the CSU also be flexible and ensure that we can continue making progress in bargaining. We can find a way to have dialogue by whatever means necessary, and it is necessary and we are open to thoughts and suggestions. But what cannot happen is that this bargaining slips through the cracks and is delayed indefinitely with the uncertainty around how long this crisis will last. That would not be in anyone's best interest, not the CSU's, and certainly not our members. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comments. Our next speaker is Jane Worst. Jane, you have been unmuted and you can begin your comments. Okay, Jane, we'll try and reconnect with you here momentarily. Okay, our last remaining callers are not identified. They're just showing by their phone number. So I'm going to announce the last 4 digits of your number. When I unmute you, if you could please identify yourself, and then you may begin your comments. Our next speaker is caller ending in 8454. If you can please identify yourself and begin your comments.
Hi, this is Patrick Choi, President of Academic Professionals of California. We represent over 3,400 academic support employees, and practically all of our employees have direct student contact. First, I'd like to wish to thank the Chancellor's Office of Labor Relations staff for our conference calls on the COVID-19 crisis to discuss ongoing concerns and our forever attempts to resolve issues. And we know that this is obviously the priority. We will get through this. We just don't know when. We hope to continue this collaborative spirit when we do start negotiating for a successor bargaining agreement. Similarly to our fellow unions who are already in the bargaining process, our APC members have spoken clearly on the concerns that need to be addressed during the negotiations. These concerns are presented in our initial proposals for the Board of Trustees meeting today. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Our next speaker is Ryan Davis. Ryan, you have been unmuted.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead and begin.
Good morning, board members. My name is Ryan Davis. I am the Vice President of Human Resources for Sierra College, and I would like to first just state that I'm in support of the CSU Sacramento Off-Campus Center being located here in Placer County. As a longtime Placer County resident and as someone who has worked in various roles in education for over 20 years, both at the K-12 and community college level, I know the important effect having proximity to a strong public education path through the bachelor's level and graduate studies would have on our community. The South Placer area is fortunate to be one of the areas of the state that is growing, and one of the key aspects to a growing and thriving community is access to quality higher education. Although we have a thriving community college system here in our region with Sierra College, I am excited for the opportunities of a partnership between CSU and Sierra College to create clear and efficient pathways to educational attainment and to careers in our region. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today, and I strongly encourage you to accept the donation of land for the CSU Sacramento Off-Campus Center in Placer County. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. Our next speaker is caller ending in 7444. If you could please identify yourself and begin your comments.
Good morning, Chancellor White and trustees. My name is Rebecca Robles. I'm an Ohashiman tribal member and a cultural preservationist. Cal State Long Beach recently dumped dirt and construction debris on Pavona, a sacred site for a number of Native American tribal groups that is located on the university campus. It is one of the most important sites in all of Southern California. Desecrating Pavona is a form of cultural genocide to the Native American groups that consider this sacred grounds. The university is well aware of the cultural value of Pavona, which is listed on the National Register of Historical Places and listed with the Native American Heritage Commission in the Sacred Lands File. Cal State Long Beach shirked its legal requirements to consult with each and every Native American group that has a connection to this land before desecrating the sacred site. For both ethical and legal reasons, it's imperative that Cal State Long Beach take actions to reverse the damage done to Pavona and to ensure that the site remain protected and treated with respect forever. We urge other Native American tribal groups, Cal State Long Beach students and faculty, and others who care about repairing California's history of cultural genocide against the Native people to stand with us and demand immediate action from the university to repair the damage done to Pavona. We would like the construction soils, to be removed.
Thank you, Rebecca. You've reached the 1 minute mark. If you could please conclude your comments.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Our next caller ends in 7763. If you could please identify yourself and begin your comments.
I I am Pam Robertson, CSUEU Unit 2 Vice Chair from Sacramento State University. Good morning, Chancellor White, trustees, and campus presidents. According to the order of Governor Newsom and direction of Chancellor White, all employees aged 65 and over or those vulnerable to COVID-19 are ordered to stay away from campus until further notice. This is not to be taken lightly. It was brought to our attention that some of us in this class are still working on campus. We're doing no favors by working intermittently. The risks outweigh the benefits. By ignoring this mandate, we're not only risking our own health and safety, but also the safety of our peers, our family, and others. It is our duty to follow the orders of the CSU, to stay away to help flatten the curve. The risk of one life lost or a scarred lung is too high of a price to pay. Thank you, stay safe, and God bless us all.
Thank you very much for your comments. Our next speaker is caller ending in 1730. Please identify yourself and begin your comments. Caller ending in 1730, you are unmuted. If you could please identify yourself and begin your comments. Okay, we'll come back to that caller. Our next caller ends in 9194. If you could please identify yourself and begin your comments.
Yes, good morning, Chancellor White and trustees. My name is Scott Ewell. It's spelled Y-U-I-L-L. And I'm here to support this project and encourage you to consider moving forward. I was born and raised in Sacramento. I've lived here all my life. I've had a small business in the city of Rockland for 32 years, and I was elected to local office and served on the city council for 12 years, and 3 of those as mayor. I've also served on a number of regional boards that have addressed this project, and that's Placer County Transportation Authority, Placer County Waste Management Authority, Sacramento Area Council of Governance, and Placer County Economic Development Board. And it's been pointed out, and I'll point it out again, that this has really been thoroughly vetted in a number of ways. And this area's always been designated for job growth. And frankly, I think there would be opposition no matter where a development were to proceed. Personal note, I'm a graduate of Sac State, so is my wife, and 8 other of my immediate family members are. And it really is amazing the influence that Sac State has provided to this area. You know, the CSU positively influences our economy and our culture, and broadening its presence in Placer County offers really, truly endless possibilities and continued legacy. So it really would be a shame to squander this opportunity. So let's please move forward and not backwards. Thank you, and be safe.
Thank you as well for your comments. Okay, we're going to go ahead and try it with our last 2 here. We have one individual identifying by JMW. You have been unmuted. If you can identify yourself and please begin your comments.
Hello, I am Jean Wilson speaking on behalf of the California Native Plant Society. The gift of over 300 acres to CSU from the Placer Ranch project includes rare and irreplaceable vernal pool habitat with unique native flora, including endangered and protected species. As a responsible agency under CEQA, the CSU Board of Trustees, quote, must form its own independent judgment of the environmental effects of this project, end quote, before accepting the proposed gift. The Committee on Campus Planning's report does not provide even a cursory assessment of environmental impacts of developing the gift property, relying entirely upon the flawed EIR approved by Placer County, which is currently in litigation. Adopting and incorporating the findings of the final EIR approved by Placer County and citing the donors and the county's agreements to insulate CSU from responsibility for CEQA-related expenses and mitigations is simply insufficient. Because the board has not met CEQA by forming its own independent judgment of this project's environmental impacts, the gift should not be approved. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. And again, our last caller ending in 1730, you have been unmuted. If you can identify yourself and please start your comments. Okay, that caller has left the line. Chair Day, that concludes our public comment. Thank you again to all of the speakers for your patience and flexibility with this virtual format. And again, now that concludes all public comment.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Kiss. I'm going to give it a couple seconds here to make sure there's no more callers on your line, and also to remind all trustees and anyone else dialed in to please keep your audio on mute unless you're speaking. And I'd like to also thank all of the speakers for your comments, as well as your flexibility as we deal with this revised public comment format. We will now move to our agenda that's been revised and reposted